She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Thanks so much for joining us today. Have you ever been in that situation where, well, you've been down in the dumps and you had a big failure and things weren't going right, and some of your friends came and rescued you and just rallied around you and told you what a great person you were and it was going to be okay and everything was going to be fine? And then, all of a sudden, you now have moved to a place of actually having a win, actually succeeding at something, actually doing good at something, and some of those same friends now were gossiping behind your back. Now they were saying, you were all full of yourself and you forgot where you came from. All of a sudden, they're not happy for you when you're winning. They're only happy for you when you're losing. How did you overcome? How did you manage that? I've certainly been through stuff like this before. This is why today's program is a really important thing. Why? Because some of us, not some of us, all of us at some point in our life have somebody that wants to hate on us. They either want to hate on our dreams, they want to hate on our vision, they want to hate on our big win. They now are not happy if you're happy. They're only happy when you're sad. So we got to talk about this because guess what? 2018, you're playing to win, which means you're going to have some of the greatest wins of your life this year. You are. You're going to have some of the greatest wins of your entire life this year in 2018. So what does that mean? One of the challenges you will face when you encounter some of your greatest wins is you're going to have some haters hating on you, friend. They are. They are going to come out of the woodworks and you'll be surprised who they will actually be. It'll be like this. They'll say something like, you've changed. You've changed. And I'm not the only, everyone else sees it that you have changed. You're getting a little too big for your britches. You just might want to come out of the clouds and get back down here on planet Earth with the rest of us. Yeah. Yeah. Your so-called support system that's happy when you're failing, they ain't happy when you're doing good. So we want to hear from your personal experience and the things that you've done to be able to overcome and what the situation is and how you fixed it. So we're going over here to Susan Clark from Louisiana. Susan, have you ever encountered something like this?
Oh, yeah, many a time.
And what was the circumstance and how did you deal with it?
Well, I'm an analyst by trade, and in the past, I have dealt with it very poorly. I would just quit a job.
Wait. Time out. Let's get way before the quitting of the job. Okay, so What would happen? What would happen? So you were doing well in your job, and then what would happen?
Well, the thing is there would be adversarial situations to where people would, constantly be, irritating and just always talking down, and it just became very difficult. And in the past, I would just walk away from it. And after I started going to your seminars and found out that their personalities were the way God created them, then I had a little bit less difficulty and started praying over the situation instead of, just walking away from it, because I kept thinking, hey, if this keeps happening, there must be something wrong with me that I need to deal with.
Suzanne, I'm so proud of you.
Talk about the 98%. So I would assess, okay, am I thinking as a 98%er or looking at my circumstances, or am I looking at it from a 2% point of view, looking for solutions? And I started implementing some of the stuff that I learned with the Gym Mastery. And some people were responsive, in a positive way. In fact, they even said many a time, when are you going to go back to that? It's easy to revert back to patterns that cause difficulty in the workplace.
Right.
And so I've been able to look at that perspective and just pray for God to open opportunities. And I used job domination and got out of that job without just putting and get into financial situation and doubled my salary.
Wow.
And then after it was only supposed to be a year contract, and it ended up being 2.5 years.
Wow.
In December, 65, and still, I've cut my debt in half. Wow. But, I still have debt that I'm dealing with, and I've been implementing a lot of stuff. I went with y'all to Nicaragua last summer, and that was interesting to deal with. I saw, God uses us in spite of our deficiencies.
Yes.
And it just amazed me to see the work God did in me and the work He did, while I was in Nicaragua and since.
Yeah.
And anyway.
That's awesome. Suzanne, congratulations on doubling your income, number one. Congratulations on being able to ask the question, like, wait a second, this keeps happening to me. Am I the cause of it? And you know what? People just don't ask themselves that question. People just continue to live in this pattern of being a victim, right? Everything is always against them. Someone's always against them. But instead, you came to that conclusion. And again, I love it that you're a First Steps to Success graduate, that you were like, hey, am I the cause of this? What am I doing to provoke this response in my life? And that, by the way, is maturity. It's maturity that understands that I'm involved with every bad thing that happens in my life, right? I'm there. I'm in the financial mess. I'm in the business mess. I'm in the job mess. I'm in the marriage mess. I'm in the kid mess. I'm in all of the messes that are happening in my life. What has to change in me? So, Suzanne, thank you so much for sharing. That's very enlightening. And I think it's really, really important for all of us to come to that place of personal responsibility, something nobody wants to take. But if we really look at it from, a different perspective than just our own, if we're willing to lay down our own perspective and say, am I causing the problem? Instead of defending yourself that you're not the reason for the problem, look to see where you are part of the problem. Look to see where it is that you're provoking the problem. And then it's then that you can actually find the solution. So the solutions you found, you said, was Jim's mastery, understanding that, wow, everyone was created different, and exactly the way that the great designer, who I believe is God Almighty, that He's the one who developed those people exactly how they were supposed to be developed, and we have to learn how to work with each other. That's what we have to do instead of reacting. That's awesome. So we're going over to Nancy Flowers from Louisiana. Nancy, what about you? Have you been in that situation where people just tried to put you down when you were doing good? And how did you handle it?
Yes, I've been in that situation, but I was actually calling because of my situations of being jealous of others.
Ooh, you're awesome.
Well, thank you.
Tell me about that.
Well, I still work at the same place, and I worked with a particular lady for 15 years, and from the get-go, it was really, really rough. She had a kind of a rough personality, and I was very timid at the time. And so I put up with a lot, but as I put up with it, I would continue to be thinking negative thoughts towards her. Some of them might have been reality, but it wasn't God's plan to think that negative, which created the havoc in the first place.
Nancy, hold on.
Yes.
I want you to tell me, please, and this is why, baby. Nancy, this is going to help someone else. When they hear the thoughts you were having towards this woman, then it exposes, it kind of like takes the scales off of somebody else's eyes that are having the same kind of thoughts. So would you mind getting really specific for the sake of helping someone else not walking in the mistake that you had walked in the past?
I would love to. That's why I'm calling, hoping that it lets somebody else than myself.
Yes.
Yes. Well, when I first started there, I worked at a company before that was just not a lot of cussing, just good professional people. And not that this lady wasn't good and professional, but she would cuss. She was very negative, very critical, judgmental, always talking, negative, complaining a lot. And so I would sit at my desk and think thoughts like, oh, how sad, the cussing, how sad they're doing, lying and cheating, and not necessarily cheating, but lying, just negative behaviors. And I'd think how sad that is. And
so what do you mean? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get underneath this.
Okay.
Okay, so hold on. So you were sitting there saying, oh, how sad that she cusses. Or were you saying she shouldn't be cussing?
She shouldn't be cussing.
Thank you very much.
Yes, yes.
So basically,
everything she said, everything she behaved was not in my principles, so I would be negative towards, judgmental towards her.
Mm-hmm.
And as I did that, I remember calling a friend that was a counselor and talked to her and shared with her because it was rough. And she told me, she said, well, you're jealous. And I went, what? I'm jealous? And it took a short time, and I realized I was jealous. I was jealous of her success. I was because she was making more than I was.
Mm-hmm.
She was in a position that when I got hired, she was elderly, and when I got hired, I was going to take her place when she left, but she didn't leave, and she didn't leave, and she didn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
So in my hidden core of subconscious was jealousy. I was jealous she was making more. Yeah. I was jealous that she was favored.
Mm-hmm.
I was jealous that she was, and I couldn't understand why she was favored because her behavior had no favor behind it. But,
according to you.
According to me.
Exactly. If you were God, right? If you were God, you would have demoted her, fired her butt, and put you in that role.
To tell you what happened, I lived like that for years.
Like how many years? Wait, stop. How many years were you jealous of this woman?
I would say 4 or 5 or 6 years. And when I got awakened to that, you're jealous, I went, whoa.
Okay, so time out, because I want to camp out right here because this is really huge and someone's going to have a huge breakthrough, okay? So isn't it interesting? Because you just exposed what jealousy looks like from a religious person.
Yes.
Wow. What is it? It's self-righteousness and arrogance.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's straight up arrogance. Straight up arrogance. Now look at that. Did God give us, or did God bring us to a place of enlightening us or exposing to us his son for the forgiveness of our sins, for us to turn around and judge other people according to our understanding of sin? Is that why Jesus came and laid down his life on a cross? So that we could be self-righteous judges against other people's level of morality, and that we would even gauge somebody else's morality? Did now saying that I believe in Jesus give me the right to write moral rules and that everyone should play by those rules, even if I'm not talking about those rules? But I should have this expectation on everybody that they should be sinless. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Change your habits, change your future. This is the Dani Johnson Show. More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider Membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what poverty-stricken families are dealing with in Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic needs of food, clean water, and safe housing. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming Nicaragua. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Nicaragua. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
Did you know you can take the Dani Johnson Show with you wherever you go? It's never been easier to stay up to date with the latest content from Dani with the DaniJohnson.com app. Watch or listen in the car, at the gym, or on the go. Download it now from the App Store and Google Play and never miss a show again. Your family, business, and bank account will thank you.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities. And they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Are you jealous of someone that you're working with? I know right now you're like, no, Dani, no, I am not jealous. No. I'm pretty sure that Nancy Flowers from Louisiana would have said the same thing. In fact, Nancy, if you were watching this show all those years ago when you got convicted on jealousy, and we were talking about jealousy, you would think, no, I'm not jealous. In fact, was that your initial response with your friend who called you out on it?
Yes, it certainly was. But thank goodness it was just a few hours or a day or so when I realized I am jealous.
Wow. How did you come to that?
When I was able to see that a lot of the wounds that I had was, number one, religious spirit, that I thought she should be as good as I am.
Whoa, stop right there. That's a mouthful already. Okay, now isn't it interesting, right? Because we know we're not supposed to be jealous. That's if we go to church, right? We know especially those of us who go to church, know we're not supposed to be jealous. But we know how to act righteous, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
And we know how to determine whether or not someone else is righteous, don't we?
Yes.
And so you basically was looking at this woman who was being blessed, who was appointed to that position by God, by the way. She was appointed by God to be in that role. And we have a tendency of going, okay, well, let me tell you how she's not successful because she doesn't know Jesus. Because if she knew Jesus, she wouldn't cuss like a truck driver. If she knew Jesus, she wouldn't. Okay, tell me all the things that she wouldn't do. Come on, tell me, Nancy, tell me. What are all the things that she wouldn't do if she really knew Jesus like you did?
She wouldn't be ugly and talking about the boss and making negative comments about everybody.
Which is exactly what you were doing.
Yes. Isn't that always the case? But I'd like to share what happened.
Tell me.
I talked with a friend in the jealousy, so I processed that. And I don't know if it was 6 months later, I'm at my desk, and I'll just call it like this. A light bulb came on, and I knew instantly that every negative thought that I thought towards her was creating the atmosphere in the office, and it was creating the negativity towards me and creating the friction. Literally, she was very negative towards me, and it was because of my thoughts towards her.
Absolutely.
I knew instantly every thought I had towards her in my mind, silently, I had to reverse that curse with a 7-time blessing. When I did that consecutively, I had to force myself to say, she's beautiful, she's lovely, she's powerful. I had to force myself to say things every time I thought negative.
Yes.
And it literally, in 6 months of being obedient to that, there was a huge, huge shift that shifted the atmosphere and shifted our relationship.
Yes, yes. Now that is playing to win right there, man. That is playing to win. Oh my gosh, it's so powerful. Now listen, I know somebody's thinking right now, they're like, oh, really? My thoughts created this back work environment? Somebody right now is thinking, that's not true. No, yes, it is. And here's why. Because thoughts are things. Thoughts become things. So it wasn't just the thoughts that Nancy was having. It was her attitude. Your thoughts control your facial expressions. Your thoughts control your words. Your thoughts determine where your feet go and what your hands touch. Your thoughts also, this is a trip, your thoughts also filter what you hear. Your thoughts are a filter to what you will allow yourself to hear, which means that your thoughts controls your perspectives, controls your perception of another person. Your very thoughts create your very reality. Thoughts become things. Your very thoughts determines what food you'll put in your mouth. Your very thoughts determine who you will decide to hang out with. Your thoughts determine how much money you make and how much money you don't make. Your thoughts determine how much debt you have and how much more debt you'll go into versus how much debt you're going to pay off in 2018. Your thoughts determine and control what kind of a position you go for in the workplace. Your thoughts actually even filter what your husband says, what your wife says. Your thoughts, again, the words that somebody else is saying goes through the filter of your thoughts and determines whether or not it's right, wrong, or indifferent. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Be sure to tell a friend about the Dani Johnson Show. It just might be the key to the breakthrough they need.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was working 60 to 75 hours a week. I was completely stressed out. I was incredibly angry with my husband. We were in over $350,000 worth of debt. By applying the strategies that Dani teaches, in the last 3.5 years, we have paid off $170,000 in debt. We are no longer roommates, and we no longer spend every single cent that we make. We now have made tens of thousands of dollars in passive income in investments. We are on the right track. We're traveling around the world together, and we are building homes for those who really need it. So I don't know about you, but if you want to cut back from 60 to 20 and 30 hours a week, if you want to mend some relationships, if you want to make your life more efficient and a lot more fun, and you want to be the best version of you, I highly recommend that you get registered because your life is about to change.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, First Steps to Success in Creating Dynasty, my wife and I were really lost. We were struggling in a relationship. We were struggling financially, drowning in debt. Our relationship was really broken. We were in a bad place. We were living in two completely different states and not really honoring each other. Once we got plugged into the community, we noticed a shift in our lives. Most importantly, we came together as a husband and wife. That was the first thing we did. And when we finally came together under the same roof, things started to change. Over the past 3 years, we've been able to pay off over $495,000 in debt. I know my business, I've had a job created for me that increased my income by 50%. That has actually opened up the door to allow my wife and I to spend more time with each other. So I don't know where you are. I don't know if your relationship is super awesome awesome. I don't know if your job is immaculate. I don't know if you're debt-free. But what I do know is if you're not any one of those things, your next step is to get plugged into DaniJohnson.com. Go on the website, get plugged into the community. I promise you, your life will never be the same.
And prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was a broke college student, drowning in debt, and I felt like the world was crashing all around me, and I had bad relationships. Since plugging into DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success, I was able to pay off $6,600 in 4 months. Now I'm able to give 10% of my income to wherever my heart desires. I actually, using the skills that I learned from Dani, I actually landed a job before I graduated college, and I'm able to travel the world. All I know is if you're serious about annihilating your debt, traveling the world, helping people, and having fun doing so, I highly recommend you get registered for the next First Steps to Success. Do it now, don't wait, don't even thinking about it. If you're ready to change your life, just do it.
We went to our first ever First Steps to Success just 10 weeks ago, and it has definitely been life-changing ever since.
We felt like we got hit by a 2x4, but it was the best 2x4 because what we realized is that our priorities were clearly out of line. I had been building a home-based business and had been working 80 to 100 hours, and I realized that that is not my role, and that I had actually taken my husband's, and it was that realization that something had to change, and we immediately went home and changed everything. There was no hesitation. We said, you know what, we need to be obedient to God.
And we've implemented the tools day one. We started implementing what Dani taught us, invested in ourselves, invested in our kids, got our priorities in line. We've now actually paid off just not quite $60,000 in debt and looking at a couple more investments here as head of the household.
It's been absolutely incredible. So I just encourage you, if any of this speaks to you, if you're wanting to get out of debt, if you're wanting better communication, if you're wanting to elevate to the higher level of life, get to First Steps to Success and plug into DaniJohnson.com.
What multimillionaire do you know that volunteers their time to help ordinary people like you and me? There's only one. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Man, I'm telling you what. The bottom line is I spent a lot of time in my life being jealous of other people, especially smart people, because I thought I was stupid. I was jealous of pretty people because I thought I was ugly, like ugly. I could put another word in front of that, but I won't. Ugly. I was jealous of fit people, thin people, because I thought I was fat. I had the worst thoughts of myself. I battled with self-hate for a long time. Obviously, growing up in a home where I was badly abused, I was also molested, I was verbally abused, I was emotionally abused, I was mentally abused, and I was violently physically abused, sexually abused. Then I end up pregnant at 17, homeless at 21. But my thoughts, and I got control over my thoughts, those thoughts then created a completely different reality. And I became a millionaire inside of the first 2 years after starting a business from the trunk of my car and a payphone booth. So at 21, I was homeless. At 23, I was a millionaire. Today, I'm a multi-millionaire who gives 100% of the profits to the poor. I do not take a salary. I do not touch the profits. All the money goes after, of course, the staff is well taken care of and the IRS is well taken care of. Then we have the money go to more important projects, very important projects. So we're talking about how jealousy can control your life, whether it's the jealousy of another person towards you or it's your own jealousy inside of you and how you can actually fix that. And so we've got Nancy on the phone right now from Louisiana. Nancy, I'm telling you, man, that last segment, what you spoke was so powerful. So here's a question I have for you. So you said that you realized, like you had an epiphany, a light bulb went on and you went, oh my gosh, I have created this negative work environment all by myself. Whew, so true, right? Okay, so how then did you fit? Now, you said that you began to now speak. Every time you think a negative thought about that woman, now you would say she's beautiful, she's smart, she's wonderful, right? You started to counteract it and you started to do this. You started to sow good seed. Life and death is in the power of our tongue. And now we speak about our coworkers, we are going to eat the fruit of what we spoke about our coworkers, whether those words came out of our mouth to another person's ear or they stayed in our mouth and went around wild inside of our head and our heart. We still have given birth to death words. So you started to speak life in your thought life and in your mouth to this about this woman. But did you ever go to this woman and apologize to her?
Actually,
You didn't.
I didn't. Yeah.
You didn't.
No, I didn't.
Do you think you
but,
might be
you
able
know-
to find her?
She actually retired in May of this year, and she came to the office yesterday and called me today.
Hello. You have her phone number. I want you to call her.
Okay.
I want you to call her. Come on, girl, 5 years you created a terrible environment for that woman to work in. As a Christian,
Yeah.
as a noted Christian, as a woman who's supposed to be a light to the world,
Yeah.
right? You created a
Right.
terrible working environment for her.
Yeah.
You're going to plant a seed of healing and hope and restoration and edification and encouragement on this woman. Could you imagine being on the
great
other
idea.
side of this, Nancy?
That's I'm going to take her to lunch, and we're going to have this discussion.
Think about it, Nancy.
Idea.
Think about
I
from
knew I
her.
was supposed
Think
to
of
call.
yes. Think about from her perspective. How did it feel for her? You tell me if the roles was reversed, and you tell me, how was she treated?
She wasn't treated in the atmosphere. She wasn't treated well at all.
Tell me more about that.
Well, it's she could feel the way she was treated more, because I would not verbalize.
You don't have to verbalize.
would-
Do you know?
I
Let me
know,
ask you something.
definitely
Do you know it when someone doesn't like you?
Do I know? Yes.
And do you know it when someone is mad at you?
Oh, yeah. When you walk in a room and there's been an argument, you can feel it.
Feel it. So do you tell me, what environment did you create for that woman?
A stinky one. Yes. Yes.
I want you to describe it, because when you go to have this conversation with her, you're going to see it from her shoes. And there's going to be so much healing that's going to happen.
That's awesome.
So tell me, look at it from her point of view, looking at you who is thinking those thoughts.
Yes.
What do you see?
What do I see? She feels devalued and not appreciated, and like I don't like her, and she can know it and feel it, and she's. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to have how I'm going to even communicate that with her, other than let her know that I was thinking negative thoughts towards her for years, and I wanted to apologize, because I know people can feel things when they're not liked or feeling negative, and I want to apologize for creating you to have those feelings and creating that environment.
Yeah. And not even giving her a chance, right, Nancy? Didn't even give her a chance.
Right.
Wow. Could you imagine coming to work every day knowing that you're not liked, knowing that you can't do anything right to win over that person?
Right.
And do you know what happens when we don't like somebody? This is a big blow. You ready for this one?
Yes.
A form of manipulation is being silent towards somebody. That's a manipulation. Not engaging in a conversation, as well as not being willing to look them in the eyes, but looking past them or to the side of them or looking down. That's manipulation. And when we don't like somebody, we won't have great eye contact with them. And if we do have eye contact, we let our eyes say really how we feel, even though our mouth is saying something else. Could you imagine 5 years working in that?
No. Wow. Not at all.
So this is like twofold. Forgive me, Lord. I'm supposed to be a light in the workplace. I'm supposed to be a light in the workplace. I'm supposed to bring encouragement and edification. I'm supposed to prophesy in the marketplace. I'm supposed to speak words of healing in the marketplace. I'm supposed to do that in my house too. But instead, I practiced for 5 years rejection. Oh my gosh, Nancy, I am so excited you're going to call her today. And you're going to
I'm so excited that you're giving me this great. Yeah, this is beautiful. Thank you.
It is beautiful that you called in.
I never thought of doing that. Yes. I love it.
Isn't that crazy that we don't...
Healing for her, healing for me.
Right.
It's going to be, you know.
As well as canceling the seed that you sowed.
Yes. Oh,
right?
Come on. That's good.
That's
yes.
5 years of bad seed that you sowed into the workplace.
Oh, wow.
You don't want to reap all that. You can hit the reset. You might reap some of it. You have reaped some of it. But this is like hitting the reset where it's like, hold on a second. And look at this. Look at this. I hate to go here, but we have to go here. Okay, in Daniel. Okay, I've been teaching from the book of Daniel in our spiritual equipping broadcast every Wednesday. And this is like so powerful because Daniel's reputation, right? It was known by King Nebuchadnezzar and his son Belteshazzar's wife where this was like Daniel was known to carry the spirit of the Most High God. And I asked myself the question, wow, what is my reputation? And I'm not talking about my reputation from stage. I'm not talking about my reputation in front of a camera doing a television and radio show. No, I'm talking about my reputation on those customer service calls when somebody has screwed up. Or through email on those customer service emails where someone screwed up. What is my reputation? I gave somebody a really bad day. I might have even caused someone to want to quit. It could have been a suicidal person on the other end of that email, and I didn't give a rip that day. I certainly wasn't a light, but I wanted to bury them for this stupid mistake. Hello? Really? How many stupid mistakes have I made? And I want grace. I want mercy when I make a mistake, but when somebody else makes a mistake, I didn't even consider the person, the human being that was reading that email on the other side. And yet I have a mission. I want to be able to help to improve us as a company, as an organization. We want to change the lives of 100 million people. And here was one person in an email that could have been suicidal, could have been on the verge of divorce, could have been on the verge of a bankruptcy, and I made their day worse, not better. So that was a forgive me, God, for my arrogance. How foul, how rude, how wrong. Disgusting. We're supposed to be a light. This is a good wake-up call on that. Nancy, you're brilliant. You are brilliant. What a humble woman you are. What a humble woman you are. What an amazing woman you are. You are such a blessing to today's show. Such a blessing. And a reminder even from me. Whew. And thank God for forgiveness. Thank God for forgiveness. Listen, right now, I want you to do this. I want you to share this show. Share it. Get on Facebook. Share the link to it. Just hit share. If you're watching it right now, share this on Twitter. Share it on Instagram. Somebody needs to see this. Somebody is going to get promoted because they're going to change this one thing in their life. Somebody is actually going to come into freedom because they're going to take personal responsibility for the jealousy that's in their own heart or the jealousy that's coming from somebody else. We can change a life together. Let's share today's program. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Stay right here for more of The Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Hey everybody, my name is Digby and I'm from New South Wales, Australia, and I'm here live at First Steps to Success. I've been to 6 events now and my journey started with an encore in Brisbane, and after doing 2 encores in Australia I just really had to come to a live event, so here I am today. And since attending an encore and getting involved, my income has doubled and my family life is just blossoming. So you have to get there. You just have to experience it.
So 4 years ago in July, we showed up to our first Dani Johnson event, our first Steps to Success. And we were completely desperate in every area of our life. At the time, I thought it was just because of our finances, but then I figured out pretty quickly that it was because of my lack of people skills that we were where we were. We sat in the front row. We got fast track, and we sat in the front row, right in the center, next to some amazing people, because we were so hungry, so desperate, so broken, and I pretty much cried through the entire event, honestly. And when she did the War on Debt, which she will show you, this afternoon, I went back immediately and got it. She had just started talking. I heard a couple stories, and I was like, if they can do it, I know we can do it. So we went back and got it and listened to it on the way home in the car, because we drove from Michigan all the way to Missouri. So we listened to it in the car, and when we got home, we immediately got our papers out. We wrote down our plan, and we started applying it. And within 14 months, we paid off over $62,000 worth of debt. We never in a million years thought that was possible. There's so much that has happened in the last 4 years, and I'm the person that wants the results immediately. I don't like the process of getting there. I want to just get there. But I've learned to appreciate the process over the last 4 years, and just seeing the transformation that has happened in us. Personally, we individually experienced different things, and we experienced a lot of things together. I was paying our bills. I was completely disrespectful to my husband and didn't really know how bad it actually was. And so that part of our life is still improving. I can say we're a work in progress. It takes time, and we have grown so much.
We showed up. My wife, I didn't know this at the time, but she was battling thoughts of suicide. I had no idea. I thought I was being a perfectly good husband. I did my best to serve her, be a great guy. But what she needed was somebody who would step up and be a leader in our marriage. That's not who I was. And I was totally emasculated, physically emasculated by, there was someone in our church, the pastor, and so we felt the brokenness of a church, having to leave and just hurt, and devastated. One of the biggest breakthroughs started in our marriage is when Lucy started being a wife to me. And I, as a leader, I should step up, right? Take action first, be the initiator. She did it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a completely different person. And I can tell you, our marriage has just, it's amazing, the difference between her feeling suicidal, me stepping down as a leader, to me taking the initiative and just looking her in the eyes and saying, honey, thank you for allowing me to be your leader. And she just melts every time. This is awesome. So. So let me just tell you this, guys. If you're struggling, or you're broke, you're wondering what your next step is, hey, just take action. Follow those notes that you just took. Take action and do it, because your story is going to be here, and people are going to be inspired by your story. So are y'all ready to take notes? All right, let's do this. Help me welcome Miss Dani Johnson, America's favorite millionaire, to the stage.
The way you look at things is about to change. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Friend, you and I are going to have jealousy from time to time in our lives, and we're going to have jealous people coming against us, especially if we plan to play to win in 2018. Causes of jealousy could be money, success, position, fame, looks, someone's spouse, their house. Jealousy is a sign of something that's missing inside of the individual. And yet the repercussion of it, man, it can destroy your job. It can destroy somebody else's life. Literally, it can destroy somebody else's life. So if you've had people jealous towards you, or you're one that walked in jealousy and you got convicted of that and you made the change, we want to hear from you. We're talking to Giana from Florida. Giana, what about you, man? I mean,
Hello.
You just heard what Nancy was talking about. I just can't wait to hear what you're going to say.
Yes. So it was interesting that I saw this as your topic. First of all, I am a huge fan, and I was interesting when I saw this today about jealousy, because just this week I attended a conference here that was a huge deal for me, and I went and I met Gary Vaynerchuk, and Gary Vaynerchuk has been like a huge idol to me. Huge into my motivation to become an entrepreneur. And I've been successful in my own business for a few years now. So my question is, why, when I posted this picture on LinkedIn, I posted it on Facebook, and no one likes it. I have 8,000 followers on LinkedIn. 5 people liked the picture. 5 people. I thought they would be going crazy, right? This is a picture with the Gary Vaynerchuk.
Okay. Well, first of all, hold on. No, I have never heard of that man. So just to stand from the other, I mean, there might be some people who have no idea who that is. So just because it's somebody that like means so much to you doesn't mean that everyone else knows the guy. Meaning he's more famous to you than he is to the rest of the world. More than likely. And there, however many followers it is that he has, it is what it is. So you want to give some people the benefit of the doubt that not everybody knows who that is. And it doesn't. And here's the other thing. So, when it comes to social media, people like to like what is interesting to them. What's interesting to them.
Well, the reason why I felt that way is because, yes, you're right. So he's more geared towards entrepreneurs, more towards younger people who are just starting out and want to do their own thing. So I found him years ago when I was in that situation. But there's another person I got a picture with at the same conference, Ryan Sternhardt.
Don't know who that is.
The $1 Million Listing, New York $1 Million Listing.
No idea who it is.
He has a television show.
No idea who it is.
Okay. So I just felt like, wow, all these haters that they see that. To me, it was just a feeling of success, finally, making it to this point in my career to be able to even go to that conference and meet these people.
Right. And so basically, are you saying that you felt like you weren't being supported in what your interest was?
No, I felt like you had mentioned to call in if you've ever dealt with jealousy about your success. So that's how I felt that this was.
Okay, but hold on. Time out. Giana, listen to me. I want to know how you're coming from the place of, because people didn't respond to your idol, the picture of you and your idol, because people didn't get super excited about the picture with you and your idol, that means they were jealous of you. So if I was on your friends list and I don't know who that guy is, I probably would not have liked the picture because I don't know who it is. And same with the other guy. I don't watch TV, so I don't know who that is. So what I'm saying is be careful in assuming that they are haters because they're not responding, because that again is not a full clear picture, because there are some that don't know who that is clearly.
Okay.
And maybe there are some that are, jealous of your success. But here's where it's more important. When it comes to social media, let me just give you one little tip when it comes to social media.
Okay.
People like and share what is interesting to them. The biggest mistake people make in social media is they post what is interesting to themselves. But what's interesting to you is not necessarily what's interesting to somebody else. So the most successful pages in social media are the pages who have figured out what do other people like, and I'm going to talk about what other people like. So why don't you try this? If you were to go back and now make this post of, man, if you've ever felt like a failure, and if you've ever wondered if you ever will have anything good or happy or exciting happen in your life, I so get that feeling. And it was amazing to kind of cross this threshold to earn the right to go to this particular conference. I felt like this is a major goal, and I'm so excited. By the way, what major goal are you working towards that I would love to encourage you to go after as well? Now you made your post about the person reading the post.
About them.
Exactly. Versus making the post about your success.
Right.
Okay. And when you hear Dani Johnson talk about her success on Facebook, I'm always talking about it from my place of failure to then the rise up of success.
Okay.
Even my husband and I, that I can't believe we hated each other at one point. I can't believe we almost failed so many times. Do you understand? People identify with that place, and then they appreciate the overcoming of the story versus, hello, I arrived. Why don't you celebrate me? So just wanted to shed some light on that, Gina. And by the way, congratulations. I know exactly how that feels. I remember my first business mentor and just being like, oh my gosh, he signed my notebook. You know what I mean? I remember even the very first evangelist that I had met, it was like, he signed my I just remember being so excited to ever even meet somebody like that, to have my picture taken with somebody like that. It meant the world to me, and I'm pretty sure I was a freak about it. In fact, I know I was a freak about it. So I get it. I get like wishing that your friends and your family could actually understand and share in the excitement of that moment. Unfortunately, a lot of people have never had a moment like that, so they don't even know how to identify with it. But I'm telling you, I've had those moments, and there's just nothing like that feeling. So congratulations. I'm really proud of you. Okay, we've got Gina from California. Gina, what about you? What's your run-in with jealousy?
Hey, Dani, how are you?
Good.
On social media, I started a direct selling company, and I got some advice from other friends who developed direct selling companies. So the one biggest challenge is going to be jealousy, and I'm like, really? I don't think so. Mm-hmm. But I really experienced something that was, that really crushed my faith, and I was posting on social media, and we were having hundreds of people sign up, and then someone had something got misshipped or something, and then started just, this is a horrible company, they don't know what they're doing,
it's a scam.
Yeah, and I'm like, we've been around for 19 years, and then they started attacking my daughter, and I'm like, that's it. And saying these horrible things about my daughter, who was just 14. And it was just, it really crushed my spirit. And I really had to not react. Yeah. Just continuously say in my head, I forgive you so I can be free. I forgive you so I can be free.
That's right. That's right.
I really had to understand that this was coming from another place. It was very foreign to me, but it was real hurtful. I deactivated my Facebook.
Wow. Okay, so here's the deal on that too. We've got to be secure enough in ourselves to realize that the person on the other end of that is hurting. If someone's going to attack your daughter and someone's going to attack your brand, listen, it happens to me every day. Every day, there's somebody that's writing some kind of nonsense on our social media, or they're misunderstanding what we're actually saying. And the fact is that people do that. I've done it. You've done it. So it's seeing the pain that's behind those words and being able to have some more understanding there. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Don't go away. The next segment might just change your life. It's the Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what poverty-stricken families are dealing with in Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic needs of food, clean water, and safe housing. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming Nicaragua. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Nicaragua. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider Membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success.
I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
Helping you become all you were meant to be. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Listen, jealousy is part of life. How we respond to it, and even how we conjure up the idea of it, is our mess. So when you've got people who are coming against you, when you are out there just trying to give it your best shot to succeed and to do something great for your family, and you've got someone that's saying, you're just a greedy pig, you're just an idiot, you're just like all the rest. Yeah, here's what you gotta know. Listen, don't feed that monster. Don't feed that monster. There's a passage in the best success book ever written that it says that when you are kind to those people, it's like heaping hot coals over their heads. That needs to be your strategy because you're going to win bigger than you've ever won in 2018. You're playing to win this year. One of the strategies you got to have in your pocket is that you're not going to respond to drama, and you're not going to respond to people who are jealous or that are attacking you verbally. It is real simple of like, you know what? I bless that person. That person obviously is hurting. That person probably doesn't have the full perspective. I don't have the full perspective. You have a choice. You're going to climb into the drama with them. And even like what Gina was just saying, like, man, I couldn't handle it. I shut down my Facebook page. No. Rise up. Be a light. Send some love. The person is hurting who is attacking. Hurting people, come on, you know the end, hurt other people. So just love. Yeah, like, what, Dani? Yes, you can do it. You can do it. If you plan to play to win, you're going to love. And if what they're saying is hurting you really bad, then that's when you take that to the floor in your time of prayer. And you just say, God, I'm going to leave this at your feet because, I don't need to take this to bed with me. I don't need to take this to the office with me. I don't need to be thinking about this right now. So I'm going to just leave this at your feet. And I'm going to say blessing over that person. Bless their finances. Bless their health. Bless their relationships. And every time the thought comes in your mind of what you really rather do, I want you to do what we heard Nancy say earlier. Hold every thought captive and make it obedient to love. Make it obedient to love. Hey, listen, did you enjoy today's show? Do this. Share it with somebody. Share it with freely you got this information. Freely share it with somebody else. Let somebody else in on this information. Every day we're bringing you topics to help you improve your life, to get better, to win in your finances, to win in your career, to win in your family, to win in your health, to win, to thrive, and to do greater than you've ever even thought you could. So let's help somebody else do the same thing. My focus is who can I help to succeed? Join me on that vision and on that journey. As well as together, a group of us are helping to rescue 1,000 kids from the sex trade. Yes, a grown man is having sex with a 4-year-old little girl who was given up by her parents because they couldn't afford to feed her. And now she is a sex slave. We can rescue her. Go to kingsransom.org. Again, that's kingsransom.org. And let's rescue one kid at a time. There's 4.5 million kids that need to be freed. We can do our very best to at least do 1,000. So rescue 1,000. You can find that campaign at kingsransom.org. Again, that's kingsransom.org. I hope you enjoyed today's program. Please share it. Can't wait to talk to you again tomorrow. God bless you. Have an awesome rest of the day. Bye.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DaniJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been The Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.